Maybe further forward. Oh boy.
You got it! Yes! And then just go! Okay?
Faster. Faster. I think I have a really good view.
Anna and Dennis from GTFOplan. We wanted to share an amazing opportunity that we just experienced.
Yeah, one of our viewers, Peter, the owner of First Edition, which is an all-electric power catamaran, wanted us to come visit him and do a video explaining everything about his all-power electric catamaran. So here we go. Oh my gosh, can you believe it freaking snowed again?
It is so cold.
We gotta get out of here.
Let's go.
Where should we go?
Let's go to the Bahamas.
The Bahamas. Let's go.
Yeah, this is Peter on First Edition. I wanted to welcome two guests that just arrived, Dennis and Ann from the GTFOplan sailing channel. Arrived by plane yesterday, made it from DC, and welcome to the Georgetown.
Sorry a few times, so
Yeah.
if anybody's out there listening, they've heard it before. Sorry. But yeah, so this is an Aquila 44. It's a factory production boat that I really fell for, but I had never been on a power catamaran before.
And this is when you still had your Fontaine Peugeot Helia 44.
Right, so I'm living on my 44-foot sailboat, catamaran sailboat, and I loved it, but my lifestyle was more conducive to entertaining and hanging out on the boat for long periods of time without moving. And as a result, it didn't make sense to me to have a sailboat when mostly what I'm doing is sitting at anchor or at a marina and not going sailing around. And as we all know, sailboats a lot of times motor. So quite often, about 75% of the time, you're cruising, you're motoring. So anyway, so I bought the boat, and the first time I was on it was coming back from the boat show, and I hated the ride. I hated the noise. I hated the smell of the diesel engines.
And you bought it sight unseen. You hadn't been on it. You haven't had taken it out in the water. You just saw the layout.
Yeah,
you loved the layout.
No test, no trial, no test. But I had been on the boat for a social gathering when it pulled up behind my boat in St. Petersburg, and oh my gosh, this boat is so comfortable. But I didn't like going fast. I didn't need to go fast.
You were doing 15 knots and talk about the spray in the back.
Yeah, so this is the ride, my initial ride on the boat from the boat show, just 20 minutes around to the Marine Max facility there in Gulfport, and I really disliked it. So that's when I decided I like the boat, but I'm going to turn it into an electric.
I mean, that's crazy. So you buy a boat and then you immediately pull out the engines, sell them on eBay, and then
decided, hey, listen, I'm going to do this, and basically show everybody that you can take a factory boat and make it into a perfectly reasonably useful electric version of this factory produced 44-foot power cat.
So you ended up working with what company to set up the torpedoes and...
Oh yeah, so this is a Torpedo Deep Blue 80 system. Torpedo is a German manufacturer. They actually collaborated with two other German companies. One is BMW for the battery technology, and the other is Whisper Power, which is a generator that's built in Germany. So the three collaborated and produced this turnkey product. It comes with everything, you know, the battery management system, the BMW i3 batteries. It has a generator for, they call it a range extender, because you basically turn the generator on and that produces enough energy to move the boat about 6.5 knots by itself. And with 240 gallons of fuel, I can run the generator for 5 days at 6.5 knots. That would actually get me from Abaco to Bermuda.
Oh, okay.
You know, about 800-mile range. So plenty of range with the generator. But
Yeah,
the generator,
800 miles. You could do the whole Caribbean, every island, right? Pretty much.
well,
Island hopping.
sure.
So we are on first edition, a totally solar electric power catamaran, not a sailing catamaran. And it's an Aquila 44. You come up and it's a really nice layout. You can see this is your cockpit. Here you have a bar with 2 bar stools, a pass-through, and there's your galley. So that's really, really nice. And then here you have a table for cup holders and seating, lots of seating, and lots of cup holders. All in one level. You walk in to the salon. Is that handy magnetic mosquito netting, and here you have the salon, and everything again is electric. So you have induction, you have your microwave, and lots of storage. Here you have a refrigerator and a freezer. And here you have a table, and he actually uses this as a stand-up desk, which is, I think, a great idea. But you can also flip it over and have, again, a whole lot more seating. Fantastic windows. It's just beautiful, the view. And then you have 2 in-suite cabins with a head and bed. And then you have the owner's forward, and we'll take you there first. Okay, gorgeous wraparound bed, easy access. You have this area down here, which, you know, could be like a workspace, a desk, lots of storage again, cabinetry storage, under bed storage. And coming down here, on the other side, is where you have your owner's head and walk-in shower. Basically, the owner gets the entire front of the boat. Fantastic space. And your hatches here open forward. There's a fantastic breeze coming through, so a lot of great ventilation. Going down, each side has an in-suite cabin with a head. They look identical on the sides, so we'll take you down on the starboard side. They have the door where you can slide it for privacy. And to the left, you have your head. Then you have your cabin. Dolphin spotting!
Everything's right over here. Right over there.
Oh, there he is! Okay, film! Ah! Dennis, over there! just jumped in the water to try to, some dolphins came up to the boat, and but then they swam away, so it's a little chilly, January.
Let me explain about the roof, because actually I'm very proud of this roof. I didn't build this propulsion system. It was developed and I just installed it. That's not, but I did design and build this roof. So this is the end of the factory roof, right here. And this factory roof is very concave. There's only a very small area in the middle that you can actually fit solar on.
Oh,
so you can literally only put probably 350 watt panels on this roof, without making it look funny. You'd have to build like some kind of rack, and it would destroy the aesthetics.
Right.
I have 14 350 watt panels on this roof.
14?
So
and that's a total of 5,600?
That are now 5,600 watts.
That is incredible.
Including the 2 solar panels over the aft seating area, which gives you a nice shelter over that seating area. So anyway, what I did is I pulled the factory roof off. And again, this is going back to the factory. I asked the factory, hey, would you build eco-friendly solar roof, something I could put a lot of solar panels on? And they said, no, we're not interested in doing that. We're pretty busy with other stuff. And I had even spoken to the architect who designed this boat and said, could we do this? And how much weight can we add?
And the whole intent of rebuilding the roof, you expanded it, but you also, it gave you the better surface.
Right, you needed to flatten it out a little bit. It still has some concave so it can shed water, but it can't go like this. And so I extended about almost 2 feet this way, about 3 feet that way, and about 4 feet that way. And basically, the amount of usable space for solar went from about 1,000 watts to almost 5,000 watts of solar. So 5 times the surface area. That was a big deal, but it would have been so easy for a company, as big as Gila to manufacture a solar roof. And why aren't that? That's just very, very annoying to me, and it's aggravating, and that's pretty much my intent of the social media is to say, listen, put a nice solar roof on these power catamarans because they're great platforms for solar. They're just perfectly suited.
It is. It's fantastic.
Let's go see this propulsion system, this electric propulsion system from the Torpedo.
Yeah.
There's a catamaran, so there's 2 engine rooms. We actually, I should call them motor rooms, equipment rooms, because we don't have engines for propulsion. We have electric motors. So here, this is the DPU 80. It's an 80 kilowatt DC motor. And right now, of course, we would not be able to hear ourselves speak if this was Volvo Penta D300 diesel engine. We just wouldn't be able to be shouting.
Oh yeah, I mean it's so incredibly quiet.
So we're doing, we're now with the wind, so we're doing about 4 knots. We're pulling the dinghy, which actually likes a lot of drag, so we would probably be doing about 5 knots. Believe it or not, the dinghy will slow down.
Oh, it's amazing, but they say about a knot of drag.
Exactly. So again, this is a BMW i3 battery. It's 40 kilowatts. There are 2. There's one on this hull, engine room, other engine room.
40 kilowatts here and 40 kilowatts on the other side.
Exactly.
So 80 kilowatts total. That's a lot of battery.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then that's the propulsion batteries. We have the house bank, which is about 10 kilowatts. These are 360 volt batteries.
360 volt. Okay.
Yeah. So that we use 360 volts because this is a 360 volt motor.
Okay.
Very similar to what you're going to find like in a Tesla or a car, and it's more efficient that way. That's when they run at that high voltage. It's much more efficient.
Yeah. And what about heat? Do they kick off a lot of heat down in here?
No, but it is, as I was saying, is marinated. Not like you marinate food, but it's it's been cooled by water instead of air, because instead of it going in a car, which can cool with air, it has to cool with water. So we have a little pump that pumps water through a cooling system, and normally the battery doesn't need cooling, but if it does get warm and it hits the threshold, then the thermostat kicks on the cooling system.
Yeah. The thing I really love it's just how quiet it is. Here we are on a power cat, but rather than these loud booming engines, it's like you're sailing, but you don't have sails. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
I'll do the blue.
Okay, I'll take pink.
These are
Perfect.
the hardest decisions then hopefully you'll have to make tonight.
Prost.
Welcome to First Edition and Georgetown.
Prost. Awesome. Thank you
Prost.
so much, Peter.
That is delicious.
Not
I
bad.
like
Yes.
it.
Thank you. Wow, that's good.
That is really good. Trash pickup. See it right there? We're trying to get that little piece. What a good job! Okay, again, we're here in the cockpit, and you can go up either side of the boat. So we're going to go up the port side. So up here is where you control the boat. You've got 360 visibility. Again, all electric, super easy to control, and fantastic seating.
Interesting little sidebar. So this is the end of what is the factory boat right here, and the factory boat sits about 24 inches deep in the water, like that deep.
Okay.
So the reason why it sits so deep is because this seating area. So this is a great seating area. This was actually an afterthought. Originally, I think they had envisioned a bench seat here, and then somebody in the design team came up with a really good idea. Let's cantilever this 6-person seating area over the water, over the transom, and it'll be a great addition. So it really is wonderful to have it here. I wouldn't want to give it up, but this is like a very heavy appendage over the transom. And so what it did is it also moved the dinghy. The dinghy normally would sit here. Now the dinghy is back here. And it's the 500-pound dinghy that's 6 feet further back. And as a result, that's why this factory boat normally sits 24 inches deep in the water. But if you come over here and look, there's very little wave. Normally this boat at this speed would be kicking up a pretty good wave. So this turned basically a planing hull into a displacement hull.
a chance to talk about his battery management system, which he can control from either inside the salon or up at the helm position. He can see how much energy he's creating from his 5,600 watts of solar panels, and he can also see the states of charge for his low voltage and his high voltage systems. His low voltage system is comprised of his lithium ion batteries. It's a 24 volt system, holds about 9,000 kilowatts of energy. And then the high voltage is the BMW i3 batteries, those 360 volt ones that each hold about 40 kilowatts of energy as well. By using a bidirectional converter to transfer energy between the high and low systems, he is able to basically run and meet all of his house needs for up to 4 days with no sun. Pretty impressive. And then I did ask him about any maintenance requirements, and here's what he had to say about that.
Good question. So, literally, well, we all know a solar panel, there's nothing to do. Maybe you might hose them off, once a month or twice, like every 6 months or so. I really have never, we get a little bit of rain here, and that keeps up with us. So no maintenance on solar. The battery bank, it's warranted for 8 years to be at 80% state of charge. In other words, 80% as effective 8 years from now, or they'll replace the battery through the BMW and Torqeedo.
Right.
And there's no maintenance on batteries. They're closed. You're not even allowed to touch them. The only thing that there is a maintenance on is, like all boats, you have filters for raw water, to strain raw water. Now here in the Bahamas, it's so clean.
Yeah.
I haven't changed the filters on any of my pumps for, I think, 6 months.
Oh, wow.
But back in Florida, in Tampa Bay, it is so filthy and covered with sediment that literally sometimes once a week.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, our short time away came to an end, but we got a real glimpse into what our future life will be like living aboard. We made some great new friends. Hi, Peter and Becca and Molly and Teddy Bear. We've shared their links in the section below as well. Until next time.
So why did we do it?
Well, we've always been fascinated with the idea of going all electric. Early on, when we were considering what boat, we really wanted to be an all electric boat.
Yeah, and I think the point that we made in the conversation with Peter, and Peter made as well, is he even recognizes that it's not a blue water cruiser, which is what we're after. But as you pointed out in your conversation with him, if you're going to island hop, you conceivably could island hop throughout the entire Caribbean because of the range that he has.
Yeah, it really depends on your cruising ground. So if, for example, we were just going to stick with the eastern seaboard of the United States and island hop in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
sure, we could be 100% electric
I think you
boat.
could even do it in the Mediterranean too.
Yeah, but
So-
you can't cross oceans, you can't do
Sure.
overly long passages, and you are dependent on solar. But he has 5,300 watts of solar.
He's
So
got a
that's
lot of solar,
lot,
and that's a
lot
lot.
of real estate.
So thank you again, Peter, for the opportunity to come visit you. We hope the
Yeah.
viewers that you get a chance to see what the possibilities are out there as more and more owners and more companies, I think, too, are really exploring the going all electric.
Yeah, Peter's proven it can work.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching us, and we'll see you next time.
So, did you mention the dogs?
No dogs.
What? So, of course, I had to take our scraps and feed them to the stray dogs, and Becca and Peter had two cute little dogs that rode on their pedal boards. So
I can't hear you.
now he said we could get a dog once we get acclimated to our future life.
Kiss me.
No, say it. We can get a dog.